All right, everybody, here we are with part two of Love That Dog. And just a few things to remember as we begin this part. Remember, this is written in this sort of journal back and forth between our narrator and his teacher. And they have been studying as a class poetry. And hopefully, you've recognized some of the different allusions that they've made in the first part of the story that we read. And now we're going to move into the second part. So I'm going to scroll ahead over here, all the way down to right where we left off, which was on February 22nd. So here we go. February 22nd. That was so great, those poems you showed us, where the words make the shape of the thing that the poem is about. Like the one about an apple that was shaped like an apple, and the one about the house that was shaped like a house. My brain was popping when I was looking at those poems. I never knew a poet person could do that funny kind of thing. February 26th. I tried one of those poems that look like what it's about. My Yellow Dog by Jack. Head, body, body, add, he, tail, low body, he, I, add, yellow body, yellow nose, yellow body, head, nose, ear, head, body, wag, leg, paw, sniff, slap. It's not the most recognizable as a dog shape without those words, but I think it's a really good job. March 1st. Yes, you could type up the yellow dog poem that looks like a dog, but this time keep the spaces exactly the same, and maybe it would look really good on yellow paper. Maybe you could put my name on it, but only if you want to, only if you think it looks good enough. March 7th. I was a little embarrassed when people said things to me like, neat poem, Jack, and how'd you think of that, Jack? And I really liked the one that you put up there about the tree that is shaped like a tree. Not a fake looking tree, but a real tree with straggly branches. But I want to know who is the anonymous poet in our class who wrote that, and why didn't he or she want to put his or her name on it? Was it like me, when I didn't think my words were poems? Maybe you will tell the anonymous poet tree that his or her tree poem is really a poem, a really good, and a really good poem too. March 14th. That was the best poem you read yesterday by Mr. Walter Dean Myers. The best poem ever. And I'm sorry I took the book home without asking. I only got one spot on it. And that's why the page is torn. I tried to get the spot out. I copied that best poem and hung it on my bedroom wall right over my bed where I could see it when I'm lying down. Maybe you could copy it too and hang it on the wall in our class where we could see it when we're sitting at our desks doing our stuff. I sure like that poem by Mr. Walter Dean Myers called Love That Boy because of two reasons. I liked it. One is because my dad calls me in the morning just like that. He calls, "Hey there, son." And also because when I had my yellow dog, I loved that dog. And I would call him. Like this, I'd say, "Hey there, Sky." His name was Sky. March 22nd. My yellow dog followed me everywhere. Every which way I turned, he was there, wagging his tail and slobber coming out of his mouth when he was smiling at me all the time, as if he was saying, thank you for choosing me, and jumping up on me with his shaggy, straggly paws on my chest, like he was trying to hug the insides right out of me. And when us kids were playing outside kicking the ball, he'd chase after it, and he'd push it with his nose. Push, and getting slobber all over the ball, but no one cared, because he was such a funny dog, that dog Sky. That straggly, furry, smiling dog Sky. And I'd call him every morning, every evening. Hey there, Sky. March 27th. Yes, you could type up what I wrote about my dog Sky, but don't type up that other secret one I wrote. The one all folded up in the envelope with tape on it. The one that uses too many of Mr. Walter Dean Myers' words. And maybe Mr. Walter Dean Myers would get mad about that. April 4th. I was very glad to hear that Mr. Walter D. Myers is not the sort of person who would get mad at a boy for using some of his words. And thank you for typing up my secret poem, the one that uses so many of Mr. Walter Dean Myers' words. And I like what you put at top, inspired by Walter Dean Myers. That sounds good to my ears. Now, no one will think I just copied because I couldn't think of my own words. They will know I was inspired by Mr. Walter Dean Myers. But don't put it on the board yet, okay? Is Mr. Walter Dean Myers a live person? And if he is, do you think he could ever come to our city, to our school, to our class? And if he did, we should hide my poem with his words, hide it real good, just in case he would get mad about that. April 9th. No. No, 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 no. I can't do it. You should do it. You're a teacher. April 12th. I don't agree that Mr. Walter D. Myers might like to hear from a boy who likes his poems. I think Mr. Walter D. Myers would like to hear from a teacher who uses big words and knows how to spell and type. April 17th. Dear Mr. Walter Dean Myers, you probably don't want to hear from me because I'm only a boy and not a teacher and I don't use big words. And you probably won't read this, or even if you do read it, you're probably way too busy to answer it, let alone do the thing I'm going to ask you. And I want you to know that it's okay because our teacher says writers are very, very, very busy trying to write their words. And the phone is ringing and the fax is going and the bills need paying. And sometimes they get sick. I hope you're not sick, Mr. Walter Dean Myers, or their family gets sick, or their electricity goes off, or their car needs fixing, or they have to go to the grocery store, or do the laundry, or clean up messes. I don't know how you find the time to write your words if you have to do all that stuff, and maybe you should get a helper. So, what I'm asking you is this: if you ever get time to leave your house, and if you ever feel like visiting a school where there might be some kids who like your poems, would you ever maybe think about maybe coming maybe to our school, which is a clean place with mostly nice people in it? And I think our teacher, Miss Stretchberry, would maybe even make brownies for you because she sometimes makes them for us. I hope I haven't too much stopped you from doing your writing of words and fixing your car and getting groceries and all that stuff. Just to read this letter, which is probably taking you maybe 15 minutes. And in that time, you could have maybe written a whole new poem, or at least the start of one. And I'm so sorry for taking up your time. And I understand if you can't come to our clean school and read some of your poems to us and let us see your face, which I bet is a friendly face. My name is Jack. Bye, Mr. Walter Dean Myers. April 20th. Did you mail it? Did he answer yet? April 24th. Months? It might take months for Mr. Walter D. Myers to answer my letter if he answers it. I didn't know until you explained that the letter has to go to Mr. Walter Dean Myers' publisher company, and then someone at the publisher company has to sort all the mail, not just my letter, but hundreds and hundreds of letters to hundreds and hundreds of authors. All that big mess of mail piled up, and someone sorting all that mail, and then the letters from Mr. Walter Dean Myers go to him. And maybe he's away on vacation. Maybe he is sick. Maybe he is hiding in a room writing poems. Maybe he's babysitting his children or his grandchildren if he's married and stuff. Or maybe he has to go to the dentist or get that car fixed. Or maybe someone died. I really, really, really hope someone did not die. So, if you ask me, it could take him years to get around to answering that letter. So I guess we better just forget about it, not count on it, get it out of our minds, and do something else. Forget it. April 26th. Sometimes when you're trying not to think about something, it keeps popping back into your head. You can't help it. You think about it and think about it and think about it until your brain feels like a squished pea. May 2nd. Yes, you can type up the thing about trying not to think about something, but you'd better leave my name off it because it was just words coming out of my head and I wasn't paying too much attention to which words came out when. May 7th. Maybe you could show me how to use the computer, and then I could type up my own words. May 8th. I didn't know about the spell checking thing inside the computer. It's like a miracle. A little brain in there, a little helper brain. But I'm a slow typer person. Did you say there is a teaching typing thing too in that computer? Will it help me type better and faster? Tap, 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 tap. So my fingers can go as fast as my brain? All right, we're going to stop right there for chunk 2. So continue on in the lesson, and then we will pick up with chunk 3 in the next lesson and finish out the whole story.